In the early 16th century, the Aztecs held control over a vast expanse of land encompassing 400 to 500 subjugated regions. They granted absolute authority to a ruler known as a tlatoani. Montezuma II was the tlatoani during the peak of the Aztec Empire. However, the extensive reach of his empire across different cultures also made it vulnerable. The Aztecs demanded regular tributes from the territories they had conquered, often requiring human sacrifices as offerings. Central to the Aztec religion was the belief that the gods had sacrificed themselves to create the world, thus necessitating a repayment of that debt in blood. This practice of ritual human sacrifice did not sit well with many of the subject tribes. In 1519, Spanish explorer-conqueror Hernán Cortés led an expeditionary force of approximately 500 soldiers and 100 sailors to Potonchan on the Yucatán Peninsula in what is now Mexico. The Spanish had previously sent exploratory missions to this region but were unaware of the extent of the Aztec Empire. Cortés defeated a local Mayan tribe, and as a gesture of goodwill, they offered him several slave girls, including one named Melanson Marina. One of Cortés's men spoke the local Mayan dialect, while Melanson was fluent in both that dialect and the Nehuado language of the Aztecs. Consequently, she played a vital role as an interpreter for Cortés and remained at his side during his conquests. Over the following months, Cortés established a base at La Villa Rica de la Veracruz, now Veracruz, Mexico, and moved westward along the coast toward Aztec territory. Although Montezuma was cautious of Cortés, he sent envoys bearing lavish gifts to the Spanish as a diplomatic gesture. Meanwhile, Cortés formed alliances with dissatisfied Aztec vassal tribes, particularly the Totonac and the Tlaxcalans. The Tlaxcalans, in particular, were crucial to Cortés's future successes, given their long-standing rivalry with the Aztecs and their sizable army, which bolstered the modest conquistador force. With these allied warriors, Cortés marched on the significant Aztec city of Colula in October 1519. There, after learning of the city's plan to ambush the Spanish, Cortés and his army massacred thousands of unarmed citizens. He departed for Tenochtitlan a month later with the intention of conquering the city and removing Montezuma from power. Upon reaching the city, Montezuma chose not to attack the Spanish but instead welcomed them cordially. This allowed him to both try to placate the Spanish and assess the strength of their army. Cortés, however, was also evaluating Montezuma's military capabilities and grew concerned. Despite the emperor's hospitality, Cortés decided to take control of Tenochtitlan. He placed Montezuma under house arrest and manipulated him as a puppet ruler. Cortés's triumph was short-lived. He received word that a Spanish party was approaching La Villa Rica de la Veracruz with orders to arrest him for exceeding the terms of his expedition. Leaving Tenochtitlan under the control of his trusted officer Pedro de Alvarado, Cortés set out to subdue the arresting party. He successfully defeated them in a surprise attack and persuaded the soldiers to join his mission to overthrow the Aztec Empire. In the meantime, Alvarado had massacred several hundred Aztec nobles and warriors during a religious festival. This sparked a rebellion throughout the city, resulting in the deaths of many members of Cortés's garrison. Cortés returned to Tenochtitlan in June 1520 to find the city in chaos. He demanded that Montezuma quell the uprising, but the emperor had lost the respect of the people. He either perished during the conflict or was assassinated. Montezuma's brother, Cuitlahuac, assumed the role of the new tlatoani and drove the conquistadors and their allies out of Tenochtitlan in a bloody assault known as La Noches. Cortés retreated to Tlaxcala, where his army gradually regained its strength over more than 5 months. Smallpox, introduced to the Aztecs by the Spanish, decimated half of Tenochtitlan's population during those months, including Emperor Cuitlahuac. Cuauhtémoc was subsequently named the new tlatoani. Meanwhile, Cortés constructed 13 small ships for his next attack on the city and departed Tlaxcala in December. Tenochtitlan, situated on an artificial island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, was connected to the mainland by 3 large causeways. In May 1521, Cortés and his coalition army reached the outskirts of the Aztec capital and laid siege to the city. His force consisted of over 18 conquistadors and tens of thousands of indigenous warriors. He had transported his ships from Tlaxcala in pieces, which proved advantageous as they enabled him to encircle the city from the water and through the causeways. These ships were equipped with cannons, and Cortés launched several assaults on Tenochtitlan while cutting off the Aztecs' access to food and water. Over 93 days, the Spanish and their allies launched repeated attacks on the Aztec defenders, gradually wearing them down. Cortés gained the support of neighboring Aztec subject tribes who saw the siege as an opportunity to free themselves from Aztec rule. When they finally breached the city's defenses, the Spanish and their indigenous allies showed no mercy. They subdued the Aztecs street by street, indiscriminately killing and looting. Houses were set ablaze and temples were destroyed. On August 13, 1521, after the sacking of Tenochtitlan, Cortés claimed the city as his own. Cuauhtémoc attempted to flee with some loyal advisors and nobles but was captured and later hanged. Cortés's victory at Tenochtitlan set in motion the rapid decline of the Aztec Empire. Over the next 3 years, the conquistadors brought all of Mesoamerica under Spanish rule and established the colony of New Spain. Smallpox continued to devastate the indigenous population and weaken their ability to resist the Spanish. Additionally, the indigenous tribes were at a significant technological disadvantage, as the Spanish had access to gunpowder and steel, while the tribes relied on thick cloth and animal hides for armor and fought with bladed clubs, bows, and spears. In the end, these factors left the tribes subject to a people who were arguably as ruthless as the Aztecs had been before them.